tank. He's good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's
great. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters I think since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Errol Spence was left impressed, praising Terence Crawford's incredible preparation for the upcoming Canelo fight. Having shared the ring with him, Spence acknowledged Crawford's exceptional ring IQ and world-class skills. Watching Crawford's latest training, he couldn't believe the speed, accuracy, and masterful footwork on display. Terence looked like a force in motion, sharp, explosive, and laser-focused. This version of Crawford is a dangerous opponent Canelo can't afford to underestimate.
Step right here and roll.
When Terence Crawford reflected on his bout with Errol Spence, the mutual respect between the two champions was evident. Known for his patient and tactical approach, Crawford explained how he systematically dismantles opponents before unleashing decisive combinations.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
Given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down. Just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one-punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right, yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him, knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him, wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything started weakening. And those little punches that wasn't.
Former world champion and boxing analyst Chris Algieri shared a strong comparison between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. According to Algieri, while Crawford has dominated and controlled nearly every fight he's been in, Canelo has had moments where he's been visibly outworked, what insiders call getting boss. One clear example was Canelo's loss to Dmitry Bivol, where Bivol's size, jab, and discipline dictated the pace. Algieri's point suggests that despite moving up in weight, Crawford's style, based on control, adaptability, and technical mastery, could trouble even seasoned fighters like Canelo.
Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys, number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So if you're talking about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that just psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights, and Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation.
Veteran commentator Max Kellerman offered a balanced view, noting that while both fighters have unique strengths, Crawford currently holds the edge in terms of recent form and overall skill. He highlighted Crawford's timing, switch hitting, and knockout power, which have peaked in recent years. By contrast, Canelo, while still elite, has shown signs of slowing down, especially in movement and offensive aggression. Kellerman acknowledged Canelo's size advantage, which could matter in close exchanges, but when weighing speed, precision, defense, and adaptability, he leaned toward Crawford as a sharper and more complete fighter right now.
I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally...
The dynamics of this mega fight are intriguing. Crawford is stepping into new territory by moving up in weight, a challenge that can affect speed and stamina. Meanwhile, Canelo, though experienced at this level, isn't quite the same explosive force he used to be. Recent bouts have shown him relying more on control than the relentless pressure of earlier years. That levels the playing field somewhat. If Crawford brings his best footwork, ring IQ, and endurance, he has a very real path to victory.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class. And in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Rising boxing star Abdullah Mason expressed strong belief in Crawford's chances, predicting not just a win, but one that will shock many. Mason noted that Crawford's power is often underestimated and could catch the world off guard. While most see Canelo as a stronger man due to size, Mason argued that Crawford's timing, angles, and precision may prove even more dangerous. If he lands clean and often, especially in the later rounds, Mason's bold prediction could come true.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter.
Dimitri Bivol, the man who recently defeated Canelo, also gave high praise to Terence Crawford. After watching him closely, Bivol said Crawford has added size effectively and has the skills needed to win. Having first-hand experience beating Canelo, Bivol's opinion carries weight. He pointed to Crawford's discipline, speed, and intelligence as key tools. When a fighter about
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's awkward, he can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jermell Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean,
Keith Thurman offered a technical breakdown of the matchup. He pointed out that while casual fans may see the fight as even, deeper analysis shows key differences. Referencing Canelo's recent fight with Jermell Charlo, Thurman noted how Canelo struggled against smart movement and ring IQ. Even as the aggressor, Canelo failed to consistently cut off the ring or land with power once Charlo used lateral movement. Thurman suggested Crawford, who is even more strategic than Charlo, could present even bigger problems.